The Commentary Booth is a show for media lovers by media lovers just like you. If you want to support the show, go to jamiapsmedia.com. Welcome to the Commentary Booth, the ultimate weekly entertainment recap and review show. My name is Jamie Apps, and each week I'll be joined by a rotating cast of co-hosts to run you through the entertainment media we've consumed during the week. Along the way, we'll provide you with insightful commentary and reviews. This week I'm joined by a teacher who lists their favourite movie as the entire Harry Potter series and favourite TV show as Parks and Rec. Welcome back to the show, Leigha Poulton.
Hey, how you going?
Thank you. How are you? Had your anniversary celebrations this weekend?
Yes, we did. We've been married for 6 years, so we had a lovely day yesterday. We just went and had lunch at Scarborough Pub and then drank some more and ate some more, and then we went to Rookie, that nice restaurant in Wollongong, so it was a really nice day.
That 6 years feels like it's gone really quickly.
I know. I was like, it's just crazy. We got together when I was 16, so we've been together 14 and married for 6, and that period feels like it's gone so fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically in 3 more years, you'll have been with Sean for over half your life.
Yep.
It's going to be crazy.
Wouldn't have it any other way. He's annoying, but I love him.
That's the ultimate way to sum up Sean, I think.
Yes.
Annoying but lovable.
Exactly, that's it. How have you been?
Good. I went out for dinner last night as well. I actually thought of going to Rookie. It would have been funny if we did.
Yeah, it would have been, hey.
It would have been like, oh, hey.
Yeah, the food's really good there.
What sort of food do they do there?
We got like the degustation menu where they have like 8 different types of food.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like they do little plates. So
yep.
They had kingfish and they had lamb, steak. What else they have? Weird breads, oysters. It was really good. I always like that when you can just have a bit of everything.
Yep. Yeah, you get a bit of... That's what we had at... We went to the living room.
Yeah, nice.
And just got one of the platters. Got a bit of everything there.
Yeah.
Is it expensive at Rookie?
Well, yes. If you go that way. I mean, they have other options, but we paid for... It was $95 per person just for the food. And then we had wine. But that's okay. It was a special occasion.
Yeah, it's worth it when it's something like that.
That's right.
It's not like you're going there every week and spending that much every week on one meal.
Exactly. And the wine was beautiful. Food was nice. And they're good service, so it was good.
It's just a shame the weather wasn't a bit nicer.
I know. Although it was quite muggy yesterday. Like we went up to the pub, which is on the beach, and it was actually quite hot. And it was perfect because as soon as we left, it started raining. We're like, well, that worked out well for us.
Very good timing. Have you been watching much in the last few weeks?
Look, to be honest, I haven't. We've just gone back to term 4, like the end of the term. I've been so busy with work. I haven't watched as much, but I have watched a few things.
Yep.
So I'll talk about The Dark Tourist first. Have you seen it?
I started it. I kind of fell off after, I think I had stuff going on in my head. And I only watched about half an episode and then had to...
Turned it off. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's crazy.
It's definitely interesting. I was intrigued and then I just fell off it and never went back to it for some reason.
Yeah. It's one of those ones. But I binged it. He just goes to the world, just follows dark places. I think the one that I watched yesterday, I watched an episode, he goes and finds people that live as vampires. And it's so weird because he's just watching them suck each other's blood. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. He's so awkward in that situation. But I really like it because it just tells you wow, I'm so vanilla. And some people are just so out there.
Yeah, vampires is interesting one.
Oh, definitely.
And yeah, like you said, that would be an awkward situation to be in because it's it feels like it's kind of intimate and sexual, but not.
That's what he said. But he went to 2 different, he had one, they had a wedding, and he went to that, and it was very showy. I'm a vampire because I want the attention of doing that. But then he went to, another place that claimed to be vampires, and they were just, living normally. And they were doing it because they felt like it gave them strength. It wasn't sexually motivated. It was just yep, I need to do this because it makes me feel better.
Okay, each to their own, I guess.
It's very weird. It's very weird. And there was like another one. He went to Thailand where they bury their dead and they pull them out of the ground every year and do like this big ritual and ceremony.
Oh,
that
so
was
it's like
weird.
Kind of like a reverse birthday.
Yeah, and they like clean up their dead and they believe that like they need to clean them so that they can be clean in the afterlife. But like it's quite confronting, obviously, pulling someone out of the ground after they've died.
And I imagine it would just get more and more confronting every year.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, no thank you.
It's just really strange. But then I think they had another one. I didn't watch this one, but I watched it a while ago. Like Spain, they do like the gladiator wars and they go in there and they like fight each other and it's hectic.
Is there one that's
it's
like
full on.
An island of dolls or something? Is that show?
Oh, I don't know if he talks to the sex doll people.
Oh, no, that's definitely not what I was thinking.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah, I was thinking like an island with like dolls and stuff in the trees, or is that am I thinking of something different?
I don't think that's that one. He does like voodoo. He watches people do voodoo things.
Yep.
And like they watch like their African culture and they like go into a trance and it's full on.
Oh yeah, every time I've seen like voodoo in documentaries and stuff, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. It's very eye-opening though to like watch these things that happened in the world that you just never would know was a thing.
Yeah, it's very similar to what's it called? There's another show on Netflix. It's like, I think it's on Netflix, about like crazy sports. And it's another one of those ones where you watch it and you're like,
yeah, I think that's the one that I'm thinking of.
You watch it and you're like, what the heck? Like, this is a legitimate sport? Like, there's one where it's basically like soccer but on horses and the ball is a dead goat.
Ew.
And it's just like, what?
Yeah, that's full on. That would never happen here in Australia.
No, there'd be people losing their minds. Like, people lose their mind already over the Melbourne Cup, let alone if there was a dead animal involved.
Yeah, it's so strange.
But it's interesting to see those different cultures and things that aren't in the mainstream.
Well, that's right. Okay, it kind of was like, oh wow, like I'm so desensitized. Like I'm so sensitive to those things, but they're probably desensitized to it.
Yep.
Like it's normalized.
And then it makes you
me,
think
I'm
like
whoa,
those vampire people, the ones that were just like kind of living like they were normal people. Like you could walk past those sort of people any day,
all the time,
never know.
Exactly.
People with weird fetishes and stuff that you just don't know.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching it because that's what I felt like. I was just like on the edge of my seat, like what's going to happen next? And he's so funny. Like he's New Zealand and he's like the most awkward dude.
Yep.
And he's just like, I don't know what to do. Like he goes on this tour, which is all about Jeffrey Dahmer, like the serial killer.
See, now that sounds like a holiday that you would want to go on.
Yeah, so like I would enjoy it, but I watched it. It was too full on. Like they were doing some like this thing, and she had these rods, and she's like, if I'm talking to Jeffrey Dahmer, cross the rods. But you could see her hands moving it to cross them. I was like, you liar. And he's just standing in the back like, that's too much for me. Like, it's not. Like, they're doing it to make money and sensationalize his crime. I don't agree with that. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, yes, it's interesting to know about them, but I don't want to be like, ooh, Jeffrey Dahmer, and all these girls are on there like, yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer's hot. I'm like, come on, he murdered people. That's gross.
I feel like you would want to just go and see like the places where it happened.
Yeah, and like find out why. That's why I like true crime. I just want to know like what happened to make them like that. But I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want the sensationalized, exaggerated one. You just want the factual tour that shows you where things happened and stuff like that.
Yeah, like I'm never going to be that girl that writes to prisoners in prison. That's gross.
Never say never.
What? No, never. The Chris Watts guy, he's the one that's getting all the bloody fan mail at the moment.
Yeah, so that's the guy from American Murder, The Family Next Door. It's the documentary that's now on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Holy dooly.
Yeah, it's a heavy hitter.
Especially because of the way it's produced, like using footage and text messages and the social media posts that... what was the lady's name?
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember now either. But like, yeah, the footage that she's put online before the murder and just like documenting their life like everybody does.
Are you talking about Shannon Watts is her name? I've just looked it up.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just like, it's things that everybody does, especially once they have kids, where they're just taking photos of their kids and filming their kids, and you put it on your own Facebook just to show family and friends, and then this obviously disgusting tragedy, murder happens.
That's right. Like it looked like they had the perfect life until
he decided that it wasn't.
I know, but he's just a piece of work.
Oh, especially, yeah, when they show, like they use all this footage to sort of show what the family was like and the experiences they were having, and the text messages show like the tension that was between her and Chris, and then when he reports her missing, or the neighbours or someone report her missing, they have the body cam footage from the police, and he's just acting like he doesn't know what's going on and freaking out that she's not there, but then he's like pointing out things that you probably wouldn't point out, like, oh, that this is here, like it shouldn't be here, or this is missing. It's like, you wouldn't know that. You'd be more worried about your family. You wouldn't be looking at being like, oh, their blankets are missing.
Yeah, that's weird.
You'd be going, I don't know where they are. And then he points out, oh, here's her phone. Why would you know that? Why would you find that there?
Yeah, it's like planting it in their brain to try and be like, this is suspicious, but it's making it look like he's the weird one.
Yeah, like he's obviously trying to make it look like she's just run off with the kids, but ultimately that's not what happened. He
obviously
killed all three of them, Shannon and the two little girls. And it's just because of like using all that archival footage and social media posts, it's really sad and really, really hard hitting and heavy. Like it just feels so personal just watching it.
Yeah. I heard he also blamed her for the crime. Like he tries to pin it on her.
Yes, when he eventually, like the police are obviously suspicious of him the whole time, because when women die, it's generally a partner.
Yeah.
So they're obviously suspicious of him from the start, and when they do get him in for like a proper questioning after a few days, he admits to killing her, but says that he only did it because he came home and she'd already killed the kids. And
like, how disgusting that you have to take her life and then blame her for murdering the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, like just...
What a prick.
Like they obviously have worked out that there's something sus here, because he does a polygraph, fails it, and then still tries to blame it on her. And it's like, everybody knows you're lying.
Yeah, just own up to it.
Especially when you see the footage that she's posted, like there is no way she did it. Like she's so loving of those kids and just wanted to get the relationship back on track, and he obviously wanted nothing of it. Found a new partner.
Yeah, I heard that.
Was just cheating on her the whole time, and she busted him. Like,
but like, what has to be so wrong in their head to be like, okay, I have a new partner, but what am I going to do? I'm going to kill my wife and children.
Yep.
So I can be with this other person. Like, how's it going to help you?
Yep. Like, if it's to that point where you want to leave, just leave. Like, you don't need to.
That's right.
Especially when you kill your own kids. Like, how? How do you do that?
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're supposed to take care of, like, you're supposed to take care of them. Those kids depend on you, and you betray them.
Yep. And like, she knew he was cheating because he was really stupid and took his girlfriend out for dinner while his wife was away, used his credit card. And she's like, a meal at this place is $30. Why did you spend $80? There's no way you spent $80 just on yourself.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, if you're going to cheat on your wife, don't be that stupid. Like, she's definitely going to catch you.
A lot of serial killers just believe that they get away with everything. They think they're smarter than everyone, so...
Yeah, and like, he probably wanted to get caught, but...
Yeah.
It's just crazy in this like digital age where there's cameras everywhere. Like on this documentary, they have one of the doorbells with the camera in it. So it's like constantly recording the front of their house, and they have security cameras everywhere. And like the fact that he thought he could get away when knowing that there's these cameras everywhere. Like they catch him backing his ute into the garage like 2 a.m. or something, and like...
I heard that the neighbour saw it and was like, that's weird.
Yep. Yeah, his neighbour was like, he never drives the ute into there, he just parks it out the front. And
especially at 2 a.m, come on, bro.
Yep. And then, yeah, they obviously worked out that that's when he loaded the bodies into the ute and drove them out to where he buried them.
Didn't he put them in a water tank or something?
He put the kids in like an oil tank that because he was a oil rig worker.
Yeah.
So he put the kids in there and then buried Shannon. But apparently, from the sounds of it, the kids were alive when he put them in there.
Oh, I can't deal with that. That's the one thing I can't deal with. I was supposed to watch it, and I just think he's such... There's not many that I can... Like, a lot of things like I'm interested in, but him, he just... That's full on, and I just can't do it. It's too dark for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was an interesting watch, and I think it's one that people should watch if they can, but I understand if you can't, because it is pretty full on and very heavy, purely because of the way it's produced with the archival footage.
That's important to say too. Like, you don't have to... I can be interested in true crime, but some things I just have to say, no, I can't do it.
Oh yeah, everybody has a line that they have to draw, then sometimes things are just too hard.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, on the true crime front, I also watched Richard Jewell, which is now on Netflix.
Okay.
So it's a 2019 film based on a true story and directed by Clint Eastwood, who, since he's moved into directing, has done some really awesome things like Gran Torino. He's done a couple of others as well that were really, really awesome movies. So I think he's found a second career wave here as a director now, which he can probably do for a lot longer than he could acting. Yeah. So Richard Jewell follows this deputy who, not a deputy, he was a deputy, gets sort of kicked out of the police, becomes a security guard, and he's tasked with being security at Centennial Olympic Park during the Atlanta Olympics.
Yeah.
And on July 27th, there was a bombing, which I, as someone that was, 96, I was 8.
Yeah.
Had no recollection of that ever happening or being on the news, but apparently there was a bombing at the Olympics.
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I was watching, I was like, oh, this is okay. I didn't realise this is where the bombing happened. I knew the movie was about a bombing, but I didn't realise it was at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so Richard is obviously a security guard at the Olympics, and he notices a suspicious bag and alerts the police that are working, who get the bomb squad to come in. They open it up and realise that it's a backpack full of pipe bombs.
Yeah.
And then as it progresses, it ends up being Richard is accused of being the bomber and planting it.
What, the one who found it?
Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, because he found it, and his past of being in the police, being kicked out and sort of wanting to get back into that field, they say that that fits the profile of a bomber.
Okay.
So yeah, it follows Richard and the subsequent investigation into who put the bomb there and how the media kind of portrays Richard afterwards. He goes from being this hero that saved all these people to just, in an instant, when they find out that FBI are investigating him, it just completely switches to now he's this evil bomber, crazy person who lives with his mom. And
oh, how sad. He didn't do it, right?
No, he didn't.
And they just vilified him.
Yep. Yeah, he was just like, he doesn't do himself any favours when his lawyer is telling him to just shut up and don't talk or don't say anything, and he just can't help himself. He has to always be like, I'm one of you guys, I'm part of the law and order. And they're just like, his lawyer's just there, and his mum is standing there looking at him like, shut up, Richard, what are you doing?
Shut up.
And yeah, like they find that he has guns, but they're legally purchased and registered hunting rifles, and he has a lot of circumstances that don't do him any favours in the investigation.
Yep.
And eventually they work out that there's no way he could have done it, because there's a 911 call from a payphone that is like a 6-minute walk away from where the bomb happens and where everybody knows he is, because where he's reporting it.
Wow.
It's a crazy movie, especially.
How sad for him that he's like tried to save people and then he just gets it flipped on him.
Yep.
And everyone would believe it too, because it's in the media. Like, you read it, you go, yep, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah, as soon as it's front page news and all over the national news on TV, it's just, people just instantly go like, oh, this guy's actually a nut.
Yeah.
In the movie, I don't know if it's true, like he's portrayed as sort of being a bit slow.
Right.
So, like, that's obviously why he's not doing himself any favors when they're telling him to shut up. He's just like trying. He thinks he's being helpful and he's not.
He's just making it worse, yeah. And it's kind of that thing, like the police just want to pin it on someone sometimes. Like when it's something so serious, they just want to find the answer quickly.
Yeah, especially because it's like early in the Olympics. They just want it solved so people stop freaking out, basically.
Yeah. Which is wrong, though. Like they need to do their due diligence and investigate. They need evidence before they can accuse someone.
Yeah, like it was his lawyer that works out that there is no way he made it to this payphone and back in the time that they're saying he did. And the police are like, no, we don't have to investigate that. Like, we know it was him. It's like, no, that's absolutely something you need to double check.
Yeah.
Because they work out, like, for him to have made it there, he would have had to run faster than the guy that won the 200 meters at the Olympics. And this is a pretty big, overweight dude. Like, there's no way he did that.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed it, even though looking back on it, it's considered a bit of a box office flop.
Right.
It only grossed $43.7 million, but it cost $45 million to produce.
Ouch.
Lost money, but I think now that it's on Netflix, a lot more people are going to give it a bit of a chance.
Yeah. So it's worth watching.
I think you would enjoy it because of that true crime aspect and seeing how the media can flip in an instant.
Yes.
Anything else you've been checking out?
Only one thing. I watched Enola Holmes, the movie on Netflix. Have you seen it?
I have. What did you think?
I actually liked it.
Same.
I liked it. It was a bit weird. Like, I mean, her talking to the camera and stuff. Sometimes I don't like that. Like, where they break that wall. It's a bit strange, but I actually did enjoy it. Like, I've always loved the Sherlock Holmes series because it's so interesting. They're so smart. And the way they investigate and put it together and etc. And it was kind of nice to have that female perspective as well.
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't going in expecting anything amazing, but it impressed me.
Yeah, it was like just one thing that we were just sitting there. We're like, oh, what are we going to watch? And we just chucked it on. I was like, oh, this is actually good. I liked it.
Pretty stacked cast too.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really good. And the costumes are amazing. Like I just like that era too. I just find it so interesting.
Yep.
And it was kind of cool having that female perspective. Like she, obviously her older brothers, now that their parents have disappeared, are responsible for her. And the expectation is that she goes to a deportment school.
Yep.
And is a lady. But she's too smart for it. And she wants to be like her brother, Sherlock, be a detective. And they're saying she can't do it. And she ends up doing it. And she's amazing. And she puts all these things. It was really cool to have that female perspective also.
Yeah, like you don't see a lot of, I guess, detective mystery movies like that with a female lead role. It's usually a man.
Exactly.
And yeah, it was a nice little twist on the Sherlock Holmes idea.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, the boy that she falls in love with, it was really good. I did enjoy it. It's very youthful though. Like it's very quite young.
Yeah, it's definitely designed for a younger audience.
Yeah, I agree.
Like a lot of the mysteries are pretty easy to solve once they're sort of laid out in front of you, but
once you get a bit of background. Yeah, but like the houses and the costumes, like I do like that era to watch. It's so like visual.
Yep.
So you're drawn in by that also. And she was quite good.
Looking at the cast, it's got Millie Bobby Brown in the lead role as Enola.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill as Sherlock. Helena Bonham Carter as their mother.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of faces that popped up. I was like, oh, I know that person.
Yeah. A
fun movie, at least. Like it's definitely a fun weekend time kill movie.
I agree. It's a fun movie to watch. But I wouldn't, if I was at the cinema, I wouldn't go to pay to watch it. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's a perfect Netflix movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not one that I'm expecting to win any awards or maybe costuming, but it's not going to win anything for the script or... Like the acting's good, but it's not anything that's mind-blowing.
It's not amazing. Yeah.
The score wasn't anything crazy, but yeah, fun, good weekend movie, especially on weekends like this where the weather is a bit meh.
Yeah, exactly.
What else have I checked out? I've been watching heaps of horror stuff still. Like last week I was talking to Blake about all the getting in the Halloween mood, so I've just been watching scary movies.
Right. I can't do them. How funny that I love true crime, but anything to do with like horror, cannot watch it.
Yeah, that's funny. That is an interesting little quirk about you.
Because I feel like it's not, I don't want to know, when I listen to true crime, I don't actually want to know about the crime. I want to know about the lead up to the crime and why the crime happened.
Yeah, and the people behind it, not so much.
Yeah, that's right.
How it happened or what they did.
Exactly. I think that's what it stems from.
And also, like, knowing that it's in the past, like, it's obviously, if there's a podcast or a documentary about it, it's been solved. It's not.
That's right.
Could still happen to you.
There's answers or there's, like, something. Yeah.
It's not supernatural either. It's all grounded and known.
Yeah, it's like there's steps to put in place to go, yeah, okay, I understand why it happened now because this, and this.
Yeah. So I've been watching that. I did watch a documentary that's in the sort of horror genre that I think might interest you. It's on the new streaming service that I found called Shudder, which is all definitely not up your alley. It's all horror themed stuff. So it's basically the Netflix of horror.
Right.
And there's a documentary series on there called Cursed Films.
Okay.
And it's 5 half-hour little documentaries about different horror movies that have like a curse associated with them. So obviously episode 1, the big one, The Exorcist.
Yep.
Episode 2, I think, was The Omen. There's Poltergeist. The Crow, which is another very well-known movie with a bit of a curse attached to it. And then the last one was, crap, now I can't remember what it's called.
There's a few movies like that, though. Like, I've seen, like, there was a movie that had a serial killer working on it. So at the time he was on the film, he was out murdering people.
Yeah, I think that was The Omen or Poltergeist, I think.
Was that the one? So that covers that?
Yeah, so I don't think he wasn't a serial killer. He just killed his girlfriend and he, like, happened to be on this movie because he was working in a hospital where they were filming a scene and they wanted to use, like, the actual doctors and technicians in the scene.
Yeah.
And he obviously gets drafted in because of that, and now that looking back on it, they're like, this
is creepy.
Killed his girlfriend and is now immortalized in this movie.
Yeah, yuck.
So yeah, there's The Exorcist, The Omen, Poltergeist, The Crow, and the last one is the Twilight Zone movie.
Okay.
So The Exorcist has everybody sort of knows about people like fainting in the cinema, and a couple of people got sick afterwards. The lady that plays the little girl in it was on one of the scenes they had to strap her in to this harness that flung her around in the bed.
Right.
But in one take, the straps came loose, and it was like, it wasn't holding her, it was just like smacking her in the back and like fractured her back and stuff.
Wow.
So they're looking back on it now like, maybe we shouldn't have done this.
No.
The Omen is similar. A couple of people either died or were supposed to get on planes and didn't get on the plane, and then that plane crashed. So it's like, ooh.
Oh, that's creepy.
And then The Crow is probably the big one that everyone knows, with Brandon Lee, who is Bruce Lee's son, dying on set.
Yeah.
Have you heard about that incident?
No, what happened?
So what's happened is he actually gets shot, is what ultimately happened. He got shot on set and died because of what happened. Mm-hmm. But they explain in this documentary, which I never knew, like they explained how it actually happened.
Okay.
So what they've done is when they do film scenes where people get shot, when they show people loading the gun, they use this bullet called a dummy bullet, which looks from the outside exactly like a regular bullet. It has the actual hollow tip on the end and then the casing. But inside the casing there is no gunpowder.
Okay.
But the cap on the end, the firing cap, still has a bit of a pop to it. Right. So they put it in and then they pull the trigger and the firing cap goes off, which has just enough force to push the hollow point, the lead part of the bullet, into the barrel of the gun.
Okay.
And then they're supposed to clean the barrel out, put the blank in, which is a bullet that has gunpowder but no actual lead slug.
Yeah.
So that when they do fire it properly, it makes the big pop like it's supposed to, but nothing comes out the end.
Okay.
Except in Brandon's case, they never cleared the the barrel. So there's this lead slug sitting halfway down the barrel. When the blank goes off, it has enough force to fire that slug out, and then that's what hit him and ultimately killed him. And because everybody expected it to be a blank, he goes down, everybody thinks he's acting.
But he's not.
He wasn't. He was actually shot laying on the ground dying.
That's insane. Whose job was it to clean out the barrel?
Yeah. They attribute it to having this curse because Bruce Lee died young. In one of his movies, this exact thing happens to him. He's meant to be shot, but somebody swaps out the gun in the movie, and that's how he gets killed in this movie.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it actually happened to his son.
That's crazy. Doesn't seem... Yeah, that's full on.
Yeah, so that's a very famous movie that is now, tarnished because of what happened.
Yeah.
And then the Twilight Zone episode, the Twilight Zone movie, this is an incident I'd never heard of, but in this movie, they set up this big stunt scene where this actor is supposed to go in, rescue these two kids and come out of this village, and then there's a helicopter flying over that's supposed to pick them up. Mm-hmm. But what they've done is they've got all these explosions going off, but the explosions were too big, which then, because they were too big, they start to affect the helicopter. The helicopter crashed and chopped the actor and the two kids clean enough.
Wow.
And they showed right up to that scene on the movie. I was like, that's gross.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, that was a crazy one, but awesome series.
Yep.
Very interesting and learnt a lot, but that scene in the Twilight Zone movie was maybe a bit too much. Probably didn't need that much. Probably could cut that a bit sooner than they did.
Right, full on. Not for the faint-hearted then.
Right up until that episode, it's totally fine. And then that episode crosses the line a little bit.
Good warning.
And then the last thing I've been watching is this local Sydney wrestling promotion have started a weekly show called the PWA Premiership.
Okay.
Obviously, Australian wrestling, it's growing, but they've never done weekly shows like this before.
Okay.
So with this one, with the situation with COVID and everything, they've kind of had to work out how can we still produce content without having our monthly big shows at Max Watts in Sydney. So what they're doing is they're filming these 50-minute to an hour episodes at their training facility.
Okay.
And they're doing it as a round-robin style tournament with 16 of their wrestlers.
Yeah.
Split into 2 blocks of 8. So each episode focuses on one of the blocks, and you'll get 4 matches.
Okay.
In the hour.
Do you just do it online? Are you watching it online?
Yeah, so they have a subscription service through this platform called OVO Play for $9.99 a month.
Okay.
And because it's a round robin, it's everybody faces everyone once, and you get 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and 0 for a loss.
Okay.
And then at the end of the 7 rounds in each block, the 2 people at the top of each block will then go on and face each other in the final. Very similar to the way a Japanese wrestling promotion, New Japan Pro Wrestling, does their annual heavyweight and junior heavyweight competitions.
Okay.
So it's just a fun way for them to still produce content in this time period where they can't have big shows with fans. They've done they've done one smaller show with an audience of 50 people.
Right.
But yeah, this is a fun way for them to produce COVID-safe stuff, and the first time they've done anything that's weekly like this.
It's good.
The people behind their graphics are doing awesome work. They're moving graphics like you would see on the soccer and everything. So I think it's a great way for people that may not have ever watched Australian wrestling but are interested in wrestling to get introduced to it, because you see 16 of, it's not their top guys. There's a couple of the really high guys, and then a lot of the younger up-and-coming wrestlers that get a nice chance to show what they can do.
Be featured, yeah.
And that's my new... It would be, I would watch it Monday nights if I could, but I have darts that night, so I have to watch it Tuesday on delay. But fun way to check out some wrestling on a weekly basis that's not
Cool.
WWE, which has been pretty lackluster recently.
That's cool. It's local, yeah.
What would be your top recommendation for the week?
It would be Dark Tourist. Definitely check it out.
How many episodes is that?
I think there's, off the top of my head, about 10. Only one season. I'm waiting for the next season to come out. I'd hoped you'd have done it by now.
Yeah, I wonder if they have filmed another one or if COVID has delayed it, because I imagine there's a lot of travel involved.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it was in 2018. I'm just looking at it now. 2018 was when he produced it, the first one.
Okay.
And it's 8 episodes. There you go.
Okay, and they're like 40 minutes to an hour or something?
Yeah, about that.
Awesome. For me, it's a hard one, but it has to be American Murder just because it's so well produced, and it is a story that I think people need to know about, even if it is difficult to watch.
Yeah.
If you can get through it, it's definitely worth it.
Okay.
Okay, that's all for this week. Thank you for listening to the Commentary Booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Trying to hit those milestone goals for the tattoo that bloody Jackson has set me. Have you heard the challenge that he's put down?
No.
So he suggested if we can hit these certain milestones that I chose, which were 1,000 plays by the end of the month or 50 subscribers on Patreon,
Yep.
that I get the logo tattooed.
Okay.
The caveat is the 1,000 plays, I get to choose where it goes.
Okay.
The 50 subscribers, it has to go on my right foot.
That's going to hurt.
Oh yeah, because I've got my left foot done and it sucked.
Yeah.
So as of the last time I checked, we were at 770 plays. And Jackson bloody subscribed to the Patreon and bumped us over the 10.
Okay, we're almost there. Everyone listen.
We're still a long way on the Patreon ones, but we're getting very close on the 1,000, which is a little bit concerning.
It's all right. You'll be fine.
So we've got the rest of November to get through the 1,000, which...
I'm sure we will. Everyone tell everyone.
So you can follow me on social media at JamieAppsMedia, and you can follow Leigha over on Instagram at l.poulton. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Apps Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine Jam Zine over on Patreon at patreon.com/Jamie Apps Media. The following people supported at the Jam publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support. Brian and June Hart, Courtney Paulson, Tracy Apps.